So, give us a little bit of background about yourself, your childhood, where you grew up, and your family's roots.
So I was born in a state in India called Goa, and I like a month after my birth, my parents like moved me to Dubai where I was brought up. But my dad used to work there like before I was born, so he lived there before me. And my mom, she moved there after they got married. And both of my parents are Portuguese because the Portuguese came to India and to Goa and they colonized us, and this is how we're eligible for citizenship to their country. And I was brought up in Dubai, but although I was brought up there, I don't have a citizenship from Dubai as specifically. So basically, I'm an Indian national with a Portuguese citizenship.
So, how has it affected you personally knowing that a country that you feel like is your home isn't going to give you citizenship?
So I wasn't born in Dubai, but I grew up there and I lived there for almost 20 years. And the thing about Dubai is they don't really give citizenship to like anyone. Like you could be born there as well. My siblings are born in Dubai, but they don't have citizenship because Dubai doesn't give their citizenship away unless you're actually local and you're actually Arab. Like they don't give it to you. And I was brought up there and I was surrounded by all these different cultures because Dubai is a really modern country. It's a modern city because it's a part of a country. And I was brought up with different cultures because Dubai is filled with like a bunch of immigrants from everywhere. Like it's actually a statistic that Dubai only has like maybe 5% that are actually locals there now because all the actual locals immigrated to like the Western countries. So most of it is like immigrants. And although I was brought up there and like I've lived there for 20 years, it saddens me that I can't like say that I'm like when people ask me where I'm from, I can say I'm from Dubai, but it doesn't really have any weight because I don't really have citizenship. I don't really have their passport. I don't have anything that says that, hey, this person is from Dubai or like I have citizenship. I don't have that. And it honestly, it saddens me because like I do relate a lot to Dubai more than my other like birthplaces. Like I relate to Dubai more than India, and I relate to Dubai more than Portugal because I've never actually been to Portugal. But because I was brought up there, I have all these childhood memories there, and I just have a more like nostalgic feeling when I think about Dubai. Like that is home for me. That is what I call home. But it's not really my home because I don't have citizenship, and if they decide to kick us out, I have nowhere to go other than like India or Portugal.
How did Dubai's culture shape your personal growth?
One of the major pros I would say of being brought up in Dubai is that I was surrounded by like different cultures. Like I went to a school that we had over 90 nationalities in our school itself. That's how multicultural Dubai is. Like we have people from all over the world coming in, and mostly it's people coming in for business because Dubai is a business hub. It's known for its business. It's known for its rapid development that has happened in like the last 30 years, I believe, because if you look back in like 1996 or even 1994, I believe, if you look at pictures of Dubai, like it's a barren land, like it's desert, it's a legit desert, like. But if you look at pictures of Dubai now, it's rapidly developed, and that's because of all the immigrants that have gotten into the country, contributing to its economy and like making it what it is today. And sometimes I think it's really sad because these immigrants, like most of the laborers, to be specific, like the laborers that take part in construction and building the country and the city, have really appalling conditions. Like they live in like an apartment like with 6 people, and it's not even like an apartment, it's like a studio. Like it's a studio filled with 6 people, and they don't have proper beds, they don't have air conditioning. And air conditioning in Dubai is a major need. Like it's not even a want, it's a need. It's really hot in Dubai. It gets up to 50 degrees Celsius and sometimes even more, and like the conditions are so hot and humid, you can't survive without air conditioning, and it's important. So coming back to my growth specifically, I would say that I grew like I grew up with a lot of multicultural people, and that contributed to my experiences. But as of the other aspect, the cons, I would say Dubai's media is really controlled, and like the government has a lot of say in what goes up onto the media and what's been like portrayed to like people and what's been written, that you don't really know what's really going on even in the country or even around the world. Sometimes like it's that censored that you don't really like, you're not aware of all these bad things that might be happening in the country. And I think that's even more scary. Like if you compare it to America, like everyone knows what's going on. I would rather know than not know about what's going on. They say ignorance is bliss, but I don't agree with that statement, because I would rather know if someone's being stabbed in my neighborhood rather than walk out and get stabbed myself.
Oh my gosh.
So that's an example of like my growth, like how it's like shielded in Dubai. And like I also feel like in Dubai, like everything's so much laid back. Like I'll give you an example. Like stuff is delivered to your doorstep, from groceries. Like everything delivers in Dubai. I've noticed in America they don't really deliver. Like even like food, sometimes it's hard to get them to deliver to your place, but in Dubai they deliver 24/7. Like you can like have like a McDonald's craving at 6 in the morning or even 4 in the morning, and you could just call them and they'd be there. Like delivery is like, for even groceries, like you could even just want milk at 4 in the morning, you could call them and you'd get it. Like that's how laid back life is there. It's so posh, and like you don't really have the struggles that I feel like people in America would have, or the amount of exposure that people in America have had, being the country that it is, the stuff that it's gone through. And also I feel like being a teenager, like okay, I was a teenager, now I'm not, but being a teenager in Dubai, like the opportunities we had to grow as a person, like over here in America it's so common to find students who work and also study, but in Dubai I feel like that's not much of a thing. Like we have very less job opportunities for people who aren't like over the age of 18, or who to be specific, sorry, more over the age of 21. Like you won't have like proper jobs to, or people wouldn't even hire you because they just think that because you're under 21 or you're not going to be as dedicated as a person who's over 21. But in America they don't really care about that as much, as long as you're willing to do the job. Like they don't care about your experience so much, like because most of the jobs are just like something that you don't really need experience for. But in Dubai it's more of like looked down upon, like they won't hire you and you have less like personal growth. I feel like you're just supposed to focus on your education, and that's all that matters. And that's basically that what comes to my mind when you talk to me about personal growth. And I feel like being in the US for like only 4 months now, I've grown more here in 4 months than I've grown for 20 years in Dubai. So that must say a lot. I've learned a lot being here.
Are there any populist movements where people are trying to fight for more freedoms in terms of speech and stuff, or immigrant rights?
Okay, to be very honest, like yeah, there's bad stuff that immigrants have to go through, like being in Dubai, because we don't have citizenship. But it's not entirely bad, because yeah, like because they don't really like bother us, like because we're used to it. Like we know that we'll never get citizenship. We've kind of like just dealt with it. Like and also like people, like even if you did stand up, if there was an uprising, it would be crazy, because the UAE would probably just deport you. Like if you like, freedom of speech over there is not a thing. It is not like something that is encouraged. So the second you speak out, you're risking losing your entire life and all your earnings and your income and a job. So people take into consideration when they think of like having a protest or anything relating to like standing up for what they believe in. They consider the fact that they're risking their life, they're risking their family, they're risking the life that they've built there for God knows how many years, because my parents lived there for 30 years. And if they decided to tomorrow, for example, if they decided to stand up against the injustice that we don't even get citizenship, they would probably lose everything that they've built in these 30 years. And the thought of that scares people, so nobody really says anything. But at the same time, I'm not gonna say that it's entirely bad. Like yes, it's bad, but we also like we have like a good life there. Like if you work, if you have money, you can survive in Dubai, because Dubai is all about money and how much you earn. Like I'm sure it's the same way in America. Like money is important no matter where you go. So it's like if you earn, you're good. But at the same time, it's just the fact that knowing that you don't belong, like even though you've contributed to like the economy of the country, you've contributed to a lot of things, you can't really call it home. You can't say that Dubai is my home because there is no document that says that you're a citizen or anything. Like you may feel like that, like I do. Like every day, like I feel like Dubai is home. Being far away from home makes me miss it so much, and I consider it, like I relate more to Dubai than I do to India or Portugal. Dubai is where I was brought up. So when people ask me where I'm from, I say Dubai without thinking twice. But internally, I know that I can't actually say that because that statement isn't correct. I don't really have citizenship. So even saying it, like when I was in Dubai, like it didn't really affect me because people don't ask you where you're from in Dubai because we all know, like we all know we're immigrants. Like it's not it's something that we've been brought up with, so nobody actually asks you where you're from because we were brought up with like a different, like people being from different countries, so we never really thought of it as something cool, like oh my god, where you're from. But now being here, people just ask you because they know that like everyone is an immigrant here, like, and it's not something that, like especially now with the elections, like Trump being president, like I worry about my life because I actually came here to get citizenship. I came here to build my life. I came here to like give birth if it comes to it. But like I came here to settle my life because I know that if Dubai tomorrow decided to kick my parents out or kick my family out, we have nowhere to go other than India. But the living conditions in India is like not that great. Like we're used to like a higher standard of living, or we could even go to Portugal, but like we don't have a house there. Everything, our entire life is based in Dubai, so if they kicked us out, we would have nowhere to go in the sense. So this is how I feel like when you talk about like if there's social freedom or if we have immigrant rights, like we don't really have that many rights. Like I could give you an example, like if like an Arab was caught speeding, he could pay his way out of the ticket, or like he could just talk to the cop, like because they're both Arab, like they would be like, oh it's fine, you know, like don't pay it, it's cool. But if it was someone like a person of color like my parents, we would have to pay that fine. We would definitely have to pay the fine. And you just like in that sense, that's how we're underprivileged. And